All right, everybody. How is everyone doing on this Thursday? We are here. This is Fox 35 Weather Plus. This is a show that we're starting on the daily at 3 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Breaking down the weather. We were kind of doing this on Thursdays and Fridays, Noah and I, from about 7 to 7:30, 7:30 to 8 o'clock. But now we're making this a regular thing, and it's pretty exciting because not only are we going to be taking you through the weather, we're kind of getting into like a little bit of the nitty-gritty, as well as breaking down what your weekend's going to be and really getting you involved. So that's our big thing with this stream right here, is making sure you know the weather for your plans that are coming up. So we do have a question of the day, so make sure you are participating with that. We'll take a look at the forecast, but before I do get started, I do just want to take a moment and just recognize that today is, of course, September 11th. If you haven't already today, just take a moment just to remember all the lives that were lost today. A pretty somber day overall, but as we head through today, just again holding the grace that we are not only protected by amazing first responders, but also just again thankful for those who did risk their lives in order to save those thousands of people that were in the Twin Towers today. But overall, again, we are here to get you involved with the news, making sure the news is revolving around you. So let's actually get started. We are seeing a beautiful day today. So let's actually start off taking a look at our radar. As we do take a look here, we're going to continue to monitor pretty clear skies, which is good news right there. So taking a look here, we are going to continue to monitor beautiful blue skies out there. We are seeing pretty much a crystal clear radar. Things are looking good out there for sure. And as we do take a look, only just a couple of very scattered showers. So here's our radar backing out just a little bit. We have been seeing this low pressure system slamming us here in Central Florida with that rain. And overall, for the past couple of days, we have just been seeing that rain continuing to hammer us. Just within Tuesday, my backyard got 4 inches of rain. So out of curiosity, I would love to know how much rain that you got in the past couple of days. And I'm looking over here on our YouTube comments, on our Facebook comments. So please feel free to write in. Let us know where you're watching from on this Thursday. But things are looking already so much more clear. We're going to be expecting a couple more scattered showers through the rest of the afternoon and evening. But things are looking good so far out there. Alrighty, so let's actually get to looking outside. Right here, this is our iDrive camera. This is looking over Universal Studios. Things are looking good. You'll notice a little bit more of that cloud cover, though, as we take a look out there this evening. Also, I do want to take a look at a couple more places around the block. So if you would like to write in where you're watching from, we'll take a look of what conditions are happening in your area at the moment. But overall, it's kind of nice outside, and I don't know about you, but I noticed this as soon as I stepped out the door earlier on today. It is feeling so much nicer out there. And here's a look at our Lake Fairview camera. It is beautiful. And not only are we seeing those beautiful blue skies, which I feel like we haven't seen in forever, those temperatures are coming down ever so slightly. So if we do take a look out at Lake Fairview, things are just so much more pleasant out there. 87 degrees. We're going to see our highs through the rest of the afternoon, lingering right around the 80s. And as we head through the rest of the work week and even into the weekend, those temperatures are going to be lingering right around there as well. So a very pleasant couple of days as we're taking a look at the temperature. And we'll talk a little bit more about the humidity coming up in a little bit. But overall, we're going to be in for a nice treat. That low pressure system that I was talking about that was over our area, bringing us those dark, dark clouds, loads and loads of rain, is finally moving out. So take a look at our rain chances for the next couple of days. Significantly less than what we were seeing just a couple of days ago. Monday, Tuesday, pretty much washouts. Even yesterday, we did see a couple of areas kind of stuck in that rain. But now we're going to slowly start to see a little bit more of that sunshine. You can still see those rain chances on the board, so it's not going to be a total beautiful sunshine day. However, it's going to be a lot less. So something to be thankful for sure. Getting a little bit of a break from that rain, because that is something that was definitely causing a good amount of flooding. We saw video from New Smyrna Beach. We saw video from a lot of areas, especially on the Volusia County coastlines. So them especially, they need a break from that rain. And we're going to get it. And basically, again, what was responsible for this was this low pressure system that was kind of lingering just off the coast. And this boundary right here was trapping in all that moisture. And now that all that moisture is kind of being pulled down to the south, most of the rain is going to be back down towards Fort Myers, back up towards areas across further to the south of Brevard County. So areas more across Indian River County and even further southward from there is where we're going to be seeing the majority of the rain for the next couple of days. But we're slowly going to actually start to see that wind coming in from the northeast, which is also going to be cutting our rain chances quite a bit. So good news all across the board, because again, just take a look at our rain chances just from the past couple of days, and just those tacks on of rain on top of rain. Areas closer to the airport got over 9 inches of rain the past couple of days. So as we're starting to dry out, these areas in particular definitely going to be getting a much needed break, which is good. So as we do take a look, Justin Brooks will actually make a quick appearance coming up in our next block. But something that's really going to make the air feel good is some drier air that's been coming in. So this pesky cold front that's been lingering over northern Florida for quite a while, finally pushing through, and we are getting in on that drier air. So a little bit of a treat for us. This drier air is not only going to help out with our rain chances, but the humidity as well. And that's something that, again, Brooks and Jess will talk about in a little bit as we head into our next block. But overall, it's going to be a beautiful weekend. Last weekend, we were totally snubbed, but now that this drier air starting to tap into that region, our region a little bit more, this is something that's really going to come into play and make things not only feel much more comfortable, but also going to be making things look a little bit more sunny as we take a look at the weekend ahead. But before we actually get to the weekend, of course, we do have to talk about your Friday. So taking a look, here are our rain chances as we take a look through the end of the work week, seeing those scattered showers and thunderstorms continuing to move in as we head into about 2 to 4 p.m., slowly starting to see those scattered showers and thunderstorms trickle off as we head through the afternoon and evening. And to further time that out, here we have our Fox weather model right here. Going to be continuing to see a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially across southern Brevard County as we head through the rest of the evening. But luckily, no widespread heavy rain on tap. So that's good news. Going to continue to see a couple of scattered showers linger into the overnight tonight. Nothing crazy though, but overall we're going to continue to see some very scattered showers, but tomorrow morning looks beautiful. Morning commute pretty much crystal clear. And you'll notice those temperatures a little bit on the cooler side, but really temperatures are going to linger throughout the low 70s tonight. But because of that humidity not kind of just slapping you in the face as soon as you walk out the door, you're going to walk outside and it's going to feel pretty comfortable out there as we take a look at your Friday, and that's going to continue into the weekend as well. We may see a couple of scattered showers, especially along Daytona Beach shorelines, Flagler Beach shorelines, trying to creep down into Orlando as we head through your 2, 3, 4 o'clock hour, but things are going to be very scattered. These are the very typical quick 10 splash and dash minute storms that are going to hit and then quickly move off. And this is going to be the same trend as we take a look at the weekend ahead. Alrighty, so that's pretty much what we're going to be seeing for your Friday. So let's actually get to our question of the day, and I'll call out a couple of people who are watching in right now. We see on YouTube Tristan from Lake County. We also see Kevin Hawthorne from Lakeland joining in. And let's actually switch to our Facebook. So those folks are watching on YouTube. Let's take a look at our Facebook right now. And as we take a look at our Facebook, again, we are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube, we are live on our Fox local app. And Scott, let us know where you're watching in from our Facebook page, and definitely join in and say hi. So question of the day, we're slowly actually going to be feeling a little bit more like fall here in Florida, taking a look at the next couple of days. So enjoy it, make sure you get outside, much more comfortable. So question to you for the day, what is your favorite fall activity to do in the fall season? So something that I would love to know. I grew up in New England, so apple picking is definitely one of mine, but we will read your responses coming up a little bit later on in the show. So write those answers in the comments. Okay, everybody, we are going to be taking a little bit of a break. When we come back, Jess and Brooks are going to be talking a little bit more about dew point and how that's going to really make your weekend feel much more comfortable. And then after that, we'll take a little bit of a break and talk a little bit more about the tropics, because things, even though they're quiet right now, knock on wood, things slowly should start to heat up as we head in the next couple of weeks, because we're going to see a couple of changes coming up. We'll talk a little bit more about that coming up in a little bit. So stay tuned, quick 2-minute break, and then we'll be right back. See you in a second. All right, everybody, thank you for joining us after the break. So what we're going to do right now is pop up that question of the day once more, and that is going to be taking a look at, as we slowly start to see a little bit of that taste of fall in the air. We're going to see that humidity really drop this weekend. It's a good feeling once we start to get into the fall season of that much cooler air, a little bit of relief from quite literally walking out the door and just instantly melting. So something that we're going to start up here, especially on Thursdays, is breaking down when you see the question of the day. Definitely write in your answer to the comments. We would love to see it. So overall, we're going to be asking today is, what is your favorite activity to do in the fall season? Write it in the comments. Again, we are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. So definitely make sure you write in, and also let us know where you're writing in from, because I know we have a lot of football games happening tomorrow. And after Jess and Brooks give a little bit of an explainer of why dew point is so important in our Florida forecast, we'll talk a little bit about some weekend happenings that are coming up. So definitely write in for your question of the day. And then as we do, also take a look, we'll toss it off to Jess and Brooks coming up in a second, which is very exciting. So this is basically a whole team effort of what we're doing here, which is pretty exciting, to make sure we basically cover everything and whatever is going on in your life, any forecasts, any events that you're going to, making sure that's covered so you can make the most of it. All right, Brooks, Jess, I'll pass it off to you to talk a little bit more about dew point coming up, especially for this weekend, because I think things are going to be feeling pretty nice out there.
You know what Jessica and I are looking forward to, and maybe you as well, lower humidity.
Finally, and it's not going to be a huge dramatic change, but in Florida, it's even just a couple of degrees. You'll notice a difference.
Yeah, we have been stuck in the muck for months on end with dew points at or above 75 degrees, which is tropical. This weekend, it may dip to pleasant, but a lot of folks ask, what's the scoop on dew point and why should I care? It sounds like a weird weather thing.
Yeah. Which, I mean, there are different ways you can put it and spin it, but at the end of the day, in layman's terms, it truly means kind of the mugginess in the air. But technically, if you were to squeeze a parcel of water, it would be the measure of water, the temperature of that. And so, but bottom line, it just helps us measure the humidity and also the mugginess of the air.
Yeah, and so it's a way to measure how it's going to feel. Is the air going to be heavy? Is it going to be light? Looking ahead to this weekend, we've been watching for the first time in a while dew points dipping into the 60s for tomorrow, for Saturday, and especially for Sunday. And while it's not going to be any cooler outside, at least it won't be so heavy.
Yeah, and you might even notice a difference, you know, during the morning hours this morning or even the last couple of days. But we're going to be expecting, you know, especially in the morning hours. I mean, we do expect temperatures to get closer to the upper 60s and low 70s, but you'll actually be able to go outside and not immediately sweat, most likely.
Which is good. Let's geek out. Can you take this graphic full? Let's look at a chart together. Yeah, so this is a chart. We don't like charts. This is like, I'm having flashbacks to high school. No. Anyway, this is an important one. This shows the sub 70 degree dew points, the daily minimums, like in the afternoon when the air bakes and it dries out. Last time, just look at the top here, and okay, I'll cut back here. This is the 70 degree line where it gets muggy. Last time we saw it dip to below 70 degrees was June, and even go back to May consistently before we were in the winter months. This starts in January and goes to now. So this will be the first time, Jessica, we've seen a dip in a long time.
I know, and I didn't even realize that we did see a dip in June, which is pretty remarkable, but you can kind of see the overall consensus where it's a little bit lower, you know, obviously closer to winter time with some drier air, but we'll take whatever small relief we can get.
And we're going to have the first relief since June on the way. So we're excited. It's all about dew point today. And with that said, we will toss it back to you.
Thanks, guys. Overall, we are going to feel a little bit more like fall over the next couple of days. Very good news, because again, I've been walking outside, and especially taking the dog for a walk. It is quite literally, you walk outside and just get hit with that humidity. So over the next couple of days, it's going to be feeling very pleasant. So dew points are going to be throughout the mid 60s, mid and upper 60s. Very comfortable to what we have been feeling, because overall, just in the past couple of days, even despite the rain, it has been feeling like a dew point over 75 degrees. It is quite literally the air you can wear. So we're going to continue to feel a little bit more pleasant as we head through the next couple of days, which is something that is very exciting. So through the next couple of days, and speaking of which, let's actually take a look at your Friday. Headed out the door for tomorrow, mild and comfy conditions, temperatures lingering right around the low 70s as you wake up tomorrow morning, quickly warming up into the low 80s, which usually by then we're in the mid and upper 80s just in the past couple of days. So already off to a cooler start. Highs tomorrow going to be throughout the upper 80s, so very similar to what we saw today, maybe a touch more cloud cover as we take a look tomorrow afternoon. And of course, it's Football Friday. We got to talk about lots of football games happening across the region. So this is in the Orlando area. Schools that are playing right in and around Orlando, maybe seeing a scattered shower early, but that rain chance completely goes down by the end of the day. So that's good news right there. By the end of the game, things should be pretty much dry. Temperatures going to be lingering throughout the upper and mid 70s as we slowly start to see things cool down for the overnight tonight. And of course, as we start to feel a little bit more like fall, it is going to be spooky, especially if you are planning on heading to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal. I'm possibly planning on going tomorrow night. I've never been. This is one of my first times, so I'm excited. So overall, if you are planning on going to Halloween Horror Nights, heads up. You may need to bring a poncho. I don't know if they allow umbrellas into the park. They do. Lovely. Thank you. Johnny's over here correcting me on this one. So he's an avid Halloween Horror Nights goer. We are going to be seeing maybe the possibility of a stray shower or two as we take a look, which may not be a problem because I have heard that one of the houses does have a wet experience. So you might be okay with that. So overall, temperature is going to be lingering throughout the low 80s to the start of the event. Doors opening at 6:30 p.m., slowly starting to cool down from there, bottoming out as the event wraps up at about 2 a.m., lingering at about 75 degrees. So maybe a couple of scattered storms early, but then clearing out by the end of the event, which is good. Now let's take a look at the weekend. Weekend is looking beautiful, and I know a lot of people were bummed last weekend as we saw the loads and loads of rain push through, really put quite a downer on a lot of folks' weekend out there. But we are going to be seeing a lot less humid conditions, less showers as we take a look ahead into this weekend. Very comfortable conditions for you to get off for the weekend. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break and then we'll talk more about the tropics coming up in a bit. Don't go anywhere.
You know what Jessica and I are looking forward to, and maybe you as well, lower humidity.
Finally, and it's not going to be a huge dramatic change.
All right, everybody, thanks for sticking with us on this Thursday. So circling back to our question of the day, what is your favorite activity to do in the fall season? Getting a little bit of a taste of fall for the next couple of days, so make sure you get outside and enjoy it. Much more comfortable conditions. So I'm actually going to start off with our Facebook comments. Seeing a couple of people writing in. Scott from Edgewater writing in saying early morning sunrises on the beach, best thing to do. I would agree with that. Lisa is also writing in saying that her son does have a baseball game on Saturday in Lake Mary. He should finally be able to play with that. Might get caught in a very stray shower, but things are looking good for that game. Seeing a couple people writing in. Tracy from Lake Nona, hi, thanks for joining us today. And Scott also writing in from Edgewater as well. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Switching over to our YouTube. Seeing Tristan writing in from Lake County, hey there. And then Kevin also writing in from Lakeland as well. And Jeremy writing in from Evansville, just writing in. He's watching from Indiana, Evansville. And writing in from Evansville, Indiana. Jeremy, I don't know if I have the most accurate forecast, considering I forecast for us here in Florida, but it's going to start in the next 7 days. Is it going to be warm or is it going to be wet? So right now we're kind of seeing a high pressure system slowly starting to move southward. So may start to rain a little bit more. I actually did just check in with one of my past meteorologists that I worked with, and it might be a little bit on the stormy side, but slowly starting to warm back up. You're kind of on that weather roller coaster out there in the Midwest right now. So thanks for writing in, Jeremy. I appreciate it. All right, so let's actually talk a little bit more about the tropics. So yesterday, it was the climatological peak of hurricane season. And with that, usually we see a lot of activity in the tropics, but this year, a little bit different. So far this year, we've only had 6 storms, which kind of is on par for last year. Last year we had, right around this time, we had about 6, 7 storms, and 5 of them being tropical storms, one of them this year, of course, Erin being a Category 5 hurricane. So as we do take a look out there right now, we're holding a 30% chance of seeing that tropical development because of this wave out here in the Atlantic right there. And the reason why we're kind of seeing such a quiet season so far has really been due to this high pressure system right here. So what this high pressure system is doing is kind of just circulating this area of dry air. And of course, we have been seeing the Saharan dust continuing to put a buffer on everything, but really it's right here, right along the African coastline, a little bit further north than where you're seeing the development right now. That's kind of the sweet spot of where we're seeing the tropical development if it were to move off the African coastline. So again, with this system right here, it's a little bit further south, which is kind of leading into a channel of where we're seeing cooler water as well as some drier air. So if tropics are very picky. I don't know if you can tell. It needs warm ocean water. It needs just the right atmospheric conditions. It's a very picky scenario, and it can't form basically too far south because there's too much moisture, not enough warm water. So we're really seeing that give and take of the atmosphere and the ocean kind of playing a role in why we're seeing the tropic season so quiet today. So overall, just flashback from last year, things can heat up very, very quickly. And of course, we had Helene and Milton back to back to back within 2 weeks. But again, reminding you of last year, between Chris and Ernesto, there was basically a 2-month span where we only had one storm, and that was Debbie. Basically, middle of September going forward, it was one after another, and we were pretty busy here in the Weather Center for sure. And then we finally wrapped up the season in mid-November with Sarah. But it just goes to show how quickly things can heat up and how quickly everything can change as well. And that's something that the Climate Prediction Center is kind of predicting as we take a look towards the middle of September. So over here, this is the Climate Prediction Center. So big difference between the National Hurricane Center and the Climate Prediction Center. Yes, they're both under NOAA. But overall, the National Hurricane Center only looks at the next 7 days. Anything further along kind of goes under the Climate Prediction Center. And the Climate Prediction Center actually looks 2 and 3 weeks out, seeing the possible scenario of seeing something try to form up in the Caribbean and the Gulf, as well as a likely chance of something coming off of the African coastline as we take a look from September 10th to September 16th. Taking a look even 3 weeks out, again, this is Climate Prediction Center, looking at the possible chance of seeing something start to spin up, taking a look across the Caribbean and the Gulf, as well as something starting to come up in the tropical Atlantic as well. So something that we're going to be watching for sure as we slowly start to see that activity on the rise. Again, we're at the peak of the season right now, climatologically speaking, but even though that we're at the peak, we have the entire rest of the season to go. So we're at the top of the mountain, but we have a long way to go as we take a look through the latter half of the season. So just again, make sure you're sticking with us as we take a look at the rest of hurricane season, because again, things can get pretty busy pretty quickly as we take a look at the tropics. So again, best thing to do, just make sure you're sticking with us here at Fox 35 to get all the latest weather information. And again, one of the reasons why we could be seeing the possibility of something maybe spinning up, especially here across the Gulf and parts of the Caribbean, even taking a look on either side of Central America, is this weather phenomenon called the Central American Gyre. And with that, it's a large area of low pressure that quite literally pulls in moisture from all sides, and this could easily spin up tropical systems. We saw this with Helene, we saw this with Milton, so this is something that's really going to come into play as we take a look at the second half of hurricane season. So taking a look right here again, this is pulling in moisture from the Gulf, pulling in moisture from the Atlantic, pulling in moisture from the Pacific, and this could easily spin something up as we take a look at the back half of hurricane season. So our focus is really going to start to shift as we take a look at the latter half of the season. So also taking a look, of course, that's what we're looking at in the tropics. Again, things pretty quiet for now, a 30% chance of development within the next couple of days. And again, our forecast is looking pretty good. So let's actually pop up your 7-day so we can see that. And I'll pop this full so you can actually really see what's going on in your neck of the woods right here. So overall, here's what we're looking at for the next couple of days. We're going to be seeing, especially for the Lake Mary area and even central Orlando area, things are looking good. Taking a look, only a couple rain chances for the next couple of days, and we're going to continue to see a dry weekend. Only a 30% chance on Saturday, 20% chance on Sunday. Temperatures lingering throughout the 80s. It's going to feel much nicer as that humidity stays on the low end, and we're going to continue to see that little bit of cloud cover, but beautiful Florida sunshine on tap. So that's some good news right there to wrap up your Thursday. Rain chances finally coming down as we take a look at the next couple of days. So it's going to be pretty nice as we take a look through the weekend and the start of next week. However, towards the back half of next week, we could slowly start to see those rain chances come back up for us here in Central Florida. So don't get too comfy quite yet. We are slowly going to start to see that, of course, Florida typical pattern make its way back into the forecast, taking a look ahead to most likely next weekend. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Again, we are going to be doing this daily from 3 to 3:30 p.m. Make sure you join, make sure you comment, make sure you interact with us because, of course, this entire forecast.
Back to Fox Weather Now. Thanks for being here at the bottom of the hour. I'm Ian Oliver. If you've been with us, this is what we're watching. There's a lot happening, some severe storms, the potential for those across the north. Not